Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in the top right corner DHL, our red Protoss, who's not moving. What's wrong, DHL? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Get those probes mining. I can't wait for Heart of the Swarm whenever the probes automatically go and mine. That's going to be fun. ETERNiTYyosh is our blue Protoss in the bottom left corner. This is a PvP. We are on Daybreak, I believe. Both players are in Masters, and we're going to have a good time. That's basically all I have to say about that. PvP is notorious for a slow opening, followed by some fantastic aggression in the late game. So please believe me that if this does start off to be very slow, I will be humorous and entertain you by no stretch of the imagination. We're going to have some silence. There's going to be a couple moments of silence. It's going to be very small, but you can always gaze upon my radiance because we do have the new webcam in the bottom right corner, I think, for you guys. Yeah, bottom right corner for you guys. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. I found that. It's exciting. I'm excited about it. You should be too. Pylon being built by both players in different locations. Fantastic. ETERNiTYyosh's position is a little bit awkward. It's a bit more forward thinking. You can deny a little bit of aggression, and you can also hide some tech back there. Yeah, so it's definitely denying the aggression. You really don't want to leave those pathways behind the mineral lines open because you can get like a warp prism over here. A warp prism drops off a bunch of units and then moves down to the south of the mineral patches and kind of kites along, taking out one or two of the probes, and then blink down into the natural. So you see that sort of play on these types of maps that have that sort of layout. It's rare, but it just shows me that ETERNiTYyosh really knows what he's doing and he's thinking about those details. He's really thinking about the small little details. And there was just another little poke from the probe, checking up here in this corner, checking up here in this corner, see if there's a proxy pylon already placed there for some sort of proxy 2-gate, because when you run into those mirror matchups, people hate mirror matchups. They really do not want to deal with cheese, and they take extraordinary lengths just to make sure that they're not dealing with cheese, and that includes some ridiculous scouting out of both players. DHL is throwing down just one gas with that cybernetics core, not worrying too much about the probe, in fact not producing anything out of the gateway to deal with that probe. Likewise for ETERNiTYyosh, not producing anything until that cybernetics core is done and we can get that first stalker out on the field to really deal with that actual annoyance, which is the single probe chasing him down. But really, I don't think either player is going to succeed in doing any damage, not even whole damage to the probes. DHL is grabbing his second gas. We can see that ETERNiTYyosh has already grabbed both of his. So with the 2 gates, he's probably going to be in a good enough position to push out, take his own natural expansion in short order. But with Protoss, PvP is basically described as who is stupid enough to take an expansion, because it's whoever can stay on one base longer wins. Second you move out, you make yourself incredibly exposed, incredibly vulnerable, and when you move out and make yourself vulnerable, the other player can just steamroll you with pure gateway units. It's a very frustrating matchup to be caught in, but I think both players are kind of teching towards that. They're being very cautious, and you don't really make it to Masters without being cautious, without covering all of your bases. Look, so it's just a Stargate out of both players. That's great. I didn't know they grabbed them both at the same time. There's a Stargate, and that's another reason to get your pylon placed back there, is some sort of hidden tech. And I really like the gateway being placed back there too, because if I were to see that, if I were to scout that, I'd just assume, oh, he's just taking care of the harassment possibility later on. But no, he's hiding the Stargate back there, because if you just see a pylon back there, that there's going to be a hidden tech. You scout this pylon, there's going to be a hidden tech, or this is where the proxy pylon is going to be placed for that later third base expansion. ETERNiTYyosh is also grabbing a robotics facility in plain view, maybe hoping that whatever scout's going to happen, we'll see that robotics facility and think that there's going to be some sort of heavy two-gate robo play. In reality, we have Phoenixes coming out of both players, which is going to be absolutely fantastic, because Phoenix versus Phoenixes, there's no real winner, And then both players do have those 2 Stargates, but really DHL does not have that robotics facility. He doesn't have he's going to have some extra money to spend on that. That first Phoenix will be arriving just in time for the Phoenix coming out of ETERNiTYyosh's Stargate. He pokes in, sees the Stargate, he's like, nope, and he just leaves right away. There goes the second Phoenix from ETERNiTYyosh. That's hilarious. The Phoenix goes all the way across the map just to see that there's a Stargate there, and turns around and runs back home. And DHL is continually producing Phoenixes. He's going to continue with the Phoenix production. And in fact, ETERNityyosh is mass producing those Phoenixes. He had a chrono boost on that one, but his Stargate is currently lying dormant. No, there it goes. With the chrono boost, fantastic. Continuing on that production. This is absolutely going to be incredible. How effective can those Phoenixes be against each other? I've never really seen a mass Phoenix versus mass Phoenix battle. There's always a handful of Phoenixes with a handful of Phoenixes versus a lot of warp gate tech. But here we've got 3 versus 3, which is going to be interesting, especially with the Stalker on the low ground. Those Phoenixes poking in, realizing that there's 4 Phoenixes back at home. I think both players are very much surprised due to the fact that there is an equal number of Phoenixes on the field for both players. And both players realize that they can probably take their expansions without worrying too much about a counter aggression out of either player. There's not going to be a big ground force to deny this sort of economic play. You know, that Nexus really isn't going to be in too much trouble, because what do they have on the ground? 1 Stalker, 1 Zealot, 3 Stalkers? Yeah, if either of those Stalkers, any of those Stalkers decide to walk across the map, those Phoenixes are just going to pick them up and chew them to pieces in no time. So both players can feel confident to take that expansion. However, every expansion that they take is going to be exposed to these Phoenixes, is going to be exposing their mineral lines. Some nice focus firing there. Oh, but 2 Phoenixes go down in the favor of DHL. So 2 Phoenixes from ETERNityyosh, but he pulls back just in time to get underneath his Stalkers, or on top of his Stalkers, with the Stalkers underneath providing some artillery fire. Those Phoenixes do get pushed back. Overall, a net win for DHL. He's definitely ahead in the resources lost tab. As well as the Phoenix count, I believe. Yeah, 6-4. But on the production tab, we can see that ETERNityyosh is grabbing a second Stargate. It's going to be mass producing those. There goes another Stargate for DHL. I wonder if they had like a gentleman's agreement just to produce Phoenixes throughout this entire matchup, because this is absolutely hilarious. I mean, it's red versus blue. You can expect it to be on the ladder, but I do not know if I've ever seen this sort of perfect mirror matchup between the two of them, and we're really going to see who can play better based solely on, not on build order. There's no such thing as a build order win whenever your build orders is the exact same. So it's going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. Let me see. Forge, interesting. Forge in the Cybernetics Core is going to be working on +1 weapons for ETERNityyosh, and that robotics facility has really remained dormant this entire time. He's never really got an observer out. It looks like it was strictly there to psych out his opponent, which overall is not it's not a loss. I mean, it's pretty cool, especially if it's successful. But you have the tech there. Might as well get an observer out. You got to keep tabs on those Phoenixes somehow, and putting an observer at a delicate area such as the natural of your opponent can really go a long way. Pardon me. Oh, can really go a long way to keep people alive. Oh goodness, what a sneeze. Oh, and what an engagement. 2 Phoenixes going down for each player. The +1 is not done yet for ETERNityyosh. It looks like those Stalkers those Phoenixes are slowly focusing down the opponent. 0 micro out of either player trying to pull back the weakened Phoenixes or anything like that. It was a straight up slugging match, but ETERNityyosh had the numerical superiority, and now all of a sudden he's 7 against 2. DHL does not have a lot of ground forces to hold off those Phoenixes, but I don't think ETERNityyosh was willing to sacrifice them. Remember, they're so incredibly weak. I mean, 60 with 120. If you consider the amount of minerals pushed in to making so many Phoenixes, you really don't want to sacrifice them, especially with the static defenses in place down by the natural. Those Phoenixes would be chewed to pieces in relatively short order. Now it looks like ETERNityyosh is feeling a little bit more confident with the number of Phoenixes he's got out on the field, 10 of them against the 4. Got to be very careful to pick up the Stalkers and shoot them down very, very quickly, but 2 of his Phoenixes go down almost instantly. Looks like DHL's Phoenixes have completely gone down, but a fresh warp in of 2 fresh Phoenixes with the added support of all the Stalkers on the low ground. 6 Phoenixes remain for ETERNityyosh, and he's pushed back to lick his fingers. This is really not the way you expect to see Phoenixes used. Phoenixes are primarily a harassment unit. They really want to be let loose on those probes in the mineral line right now, and unfortunately for both players, they've not managed to do that. ETERNityyosh, though, is making moves like he wants to switch up to a primarily ground-forced army, which won't be that bad of a decision at all. I mean, he does have a lot of money invested in these Stargates, and so he's going to have to find a way to incorporate that into his build. But a mainly ground force army such as just Zealots can really do a lot to draw the fire from these Stalkers and allow those Phoenixes to get in and not really take a lot of damage, you know, just a meat shield. And a lot of Zealots could do a lot on the way of controlling the map. You really want them to control the map. Both players are having a hard time controlling the map, and ETERNityyosh right now has the lead in as far as unit composition goes, but he can't really push out and pressure DHL and prevent him from taking this third because he really doesn't have that many units on the ground to deal with that. And you can look at that, just a single Zealot was trying to deny that third, and now all these Phoenixes are going to be able to come in and pick up these Zealots and take them out, but without the added support of a couple of Zealots on the ground, those Phoenixes won't be able to deny that third. Actually, lifting off that, those Zealots die so incredibly quickly, and with so many Phoenixes, it's actually kind of hard to pick up the Zealots when they're directly underneath. But it looks like that photon cannon is going to go down, and the third for ETERNityyosh has gone up completely. So we've got 55 over 52. ETERNityyosh a little bit behind as far as probes are concerned, but he's going to have 3 bases up. The Phoenixes getting caught off guard by so many Stalkers pushing in. Do the Stalkers have Blink? They do not. I'd expect to see Blink going to be researched by DHL in short order, or ETERNityyosh. I mean, both players are going to have to find a way to force an engagement on those Phoenixes in short order, because you really can't allow the Phoenixes for either player to have free reign of the base, which we can see that they really do have right now. 15 over 11. Either one of those clusters of Phoenix makes their way into a probe line will result in a lot of dead probes in a very short amount of time. And they're both continuing on that Phoenix production. ETERNityyosh is switching up into the Void Ray production, which is probably not a bad decision. I mean, Void Rays can be very cost effective, especially at dealing damage to buildings, which is really what those Phoenixes are missing right now. And the third has been grabbed by DHL. He did succeed in pushing off that earlier aggression from ETERNityyosh, built that Nexus, and is now fully saturating it with just a lot of probes being pushed down from one of the higher expansions. 61 over 62 harvesters, neither of them having a huge economy advantage, but the infrastructure back at home, I think it's going to go to ETERNityyosh's favor. He's got that fleet beacon, he's got 2 Stargates ready to rock and roll. 2 Stargates back for DHL as well, but he doesn't have the robotics facility. All he's got is 4 gateways. And has he been researching weapons at all? Just got the +1 weapons, got the +1 for ETERNityyosh also. But ETERNityyosh has got some Void Rays mixed in with it. He's got numerically superior Phoenixes, numerically superior Void Rays, as well as a more intimidating ground force. Those Phoenixes can pick up these Zealots, and really there's nothing that DHL can produce right now to stop this impending push. And wow, 4th being grabbed for ETERNityyosh, so he's definitely playing this for the late game. In fact, now that there goes the Aeon Pulse Crystals. I have no idea how to pronounce that correctly, but he's basically teching even higher and higher for that. Not going for those carriers just yet, more along the lines of those structures that he has out right now, making them a little bit more cost effective. But I think if there is a large engagement that kind of kills off a lot of those Phoenixes, we might see carriers later on if we're lucky, if you're good. +1 shields, +1 for the +2 for the weapons, as well as the 4th almost completing. It looks like ETERNityyosh is allowing the probes to deal with that Zealot. At the same time, DHL is grabbing his own 4th within range of that pylon. I mean, he's going to know what's going on down there. Is going to have to go toe-to-toe with so many Zealots dealing with this, and is also drawing the ire of ETERNityyosh's main force. Those Phoenixes flying across the map are going to arrive just in time to sack these probes, which are going to be pulling down. We'll see if DHL has the map awareness to pull them back. At the same time, it looks like the Phoenixes will be providing some air support. Oh, and are going to be picking off all those very delicate Void Rays. Those Void Rays caught completely unprotected from those Phoenixes. All of them go down. All of a sudden, the Phoenixes push in from ETERNityyosh, getting chewed to pieces. DHL coming out as a major winner in this engagement. Major winner. 9 to 8,000 resources lost. And DHL coming out with just a 13 over 2 for the Phoenixes. Wow, what a major turn of events. The 4th remains up. It's nice saturation. DHL has completely taken back the lead, and how he did that was he just continually produced units. He didn't try for this higher tech. He didn't bother with the Templar Archive, the fleet beacon, which I was lauding just a moment ago. Like, I thought it was a great decision. But no, he's built his own fleet beacon. He's got three Stargates now, mass producing those Phoenixes, and his numbers just skyrocketed so quickly that I didn't even notice until that engagement, until everything just died. So now ETERNityyosh has got to find some way to justify this tech that he's built, and he's doing that in the form of carriers. He's got 3 carriers on the way, as well as the interceptor speed being built and the +3 weapons, +2 underway for DHL, while he's moving out with his Phoenixes off into the top right corner to scout this expansion. But again, there's nothing he can do really until that mothership is just now popping out on the map. That mothership's going to make it so that these Phoenixes can be a little bit more ballsy in their engagements. ETERNityyosh pushing in with the supports of so many different structures. All those High Templars, that's actually a fantastic idea. These Phoenixes have not been picking up anything. They have so much energy left over, and they actually have more energy capacity than they do have health. So if you get a feedback on a Phoenix that has full energy, and a lot of them do, actually, a lot of them do. Look at all that purple. You're going to do a massive amount of damage to them in very short order. So this was actually a fantastic play by ETERNityyosh, and I apologize immensely for not picking up on it immediately. So that was my bad. Another Stargate being built, so I think that brings our number to 3-3 for both players, as well as 4-4 for the basis count, but ETERNityyosh is grabbing his 5th in the top left corner, having already grabbed his 4th in the more exposed location. Look at all that energy saved up, no chrono boost out of that guy, because he's just continually producing units and having to rely on a lot of intense micro to keep his Phoenixes alive. Look at all those Phoenixes underneath the mothership. Nice feedback on that, wouldn't hurt at all. It's gonna be a pretty tense engagement because those Phoenixes are gonna be able to focus down the mothership in very short order, but a vortex on all those Phoenixes coming out of ETERNityyosh, or even those Void Rays and carriers, can really chew them apart. There goes those feedbacks. Wow, look at those feedbacks on so many of those Phoenixes. Another round of feedbacks going down, 19. The mothership goes down almost instantly under a hail of bullets, but unfortunately those carriers are left pretty much undefended. Carriers are really, really good. Not so good that they can take out 16 Phoenixes whenever there's only 2 motherships. So unfortunately those Phoenix carriers did go down, but we have another 3 carriers on the way, +2 shields almost done, +3 air, as well as a carrier switch for DHL. So both players are just going balls to the wall crazy on so much airplay. This is wicked awesome. ETERNityyosh did a great play with those High Templars and proved to be very cost effective with them, and I'm sure he did quite a lot of damage to them. Oh, and he's got a couple positioned right up here. Come on, ETERNityyosh, where's the storms? There goes the feedbacks. 1, 2, oh wow, so many different feedbacks, and that requires not a fantastic amount of energy compared to the storms. Unfortunately, they've expunged their energy, have done the damage that they could do, didn't take out enough Phoenixes to force DHL to retreat, and even if he did, he still had a lot of damage in the form of Void Rays, in the form of Stalkers on the ground. So that expansion is definitely going to go down. Just to the south of it, ETERNityyosh is positioning his carriers and Archons into an intercept point to see if he can cut off DHL's advance. 180 over 130 supply. ETERNityyosh is in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to deal a death blow to this force, and he's going to have to make something happen quite severely. Both players have motherships on the way. It looks like DHL's mothership is going to finish well before ETERNityyosh's, and the +3 is just now getting started for DHL, so ETERNityyosh has the advantage on that, as well as the amount of interceptors in each of his carriers. His carriers are going to be pretty much completely full when the engagement happens, and the carriers are just now arriving for DHL, but 60 supply, or there's a 40 supply difference between the two of them, and that's not a lot. 5 carriers for 3 carriers, 3 Archons for 6 Void Rays, and so many Phoenixes out still on the field for DHL, and we haven't seen any Phoenixes for ETERNityyosh for quite a while now. Still, economy top drawer for both players, 84 over 63. ETERNityyosh behind on the probe count, but really he's grabbing his own expansion, and he's doing quite a lot with the small amount of resources that he's managing to accumulate. He's being very cost effective. Yeah, not really cost effective. You switch over to the resources last time and see like a 5,000 difference. Never mind, he's not being cost effective at all. He's terrible. No, he's actually very good. He's doing a fantastic job, and I really like the switch to those High Templars. And those can be a very cost effective units as long as you really can score those hits and then keep them alive long enough to morph them into the Archons so that they can serve later on in the engagement. This mothership is going to prove to be the cincher. The mothership for ETERNityyosh has just now finished. I don't know if you guys saw the lag spike, but I did. And these carriers numerically superior in the favor of ETERNityyosh. We have a maxed army versus maxed army, and I have a crying computer right now because there's going to be a lot of interceptors. Wow, that photon cannon dies almost instantly. Here comes the mothership getting caught off guard. The Phoenix is leaving it behind. It goes down almost instantly. So many interceptors from both players. The Stalkers absorbing quite a lot of damage. The High Templars basically walking into their death, getting focused down. The Phoenix is retreating. DHL taking massive losses, being forced to retreat, and so many carriers have been left alive by ETERNityyosh. I mean, what did ETERNityyosh even lose? He's got 7 carriers. He lost over 1 or 2 of them. But now we can see the force of the Phoenixes coming in, focusing down those carriers. One of them going down, the second one falling, the third one already in red. It goes down also, but all of a sudden the Phoenixes are down to only 4 Phoenixes remaining. 3 carriers total remaining for ETERNityyosh, and he's going to have to deal with just that many popping out of the Stargates in relatively short order. But ETERNityyosh has transitioned now to a primary gateway force on the ground. Those zealots are doing a fantastic amount of damage. All this settlement is definitely going to go down, and with it a lot of the unit producing structures that DHL needs to stay alive. Look at that bank, 4,000 minerals, over 1,600 gas, and all these Stargates could have been used to produce carriers, could have been used to produce Phoenixes that could really take back the sky. The DHL has been coveting this entire force, or this entire match. Unfortunately, with the infrastructure falling like that, ETERNityyosh is back up to 192, and DHL is struggling at 150. He's struggling to spend all the money he has. I mean, he's at 4K minerals. Man. DHL is producing a lot of carriers, though, and carriers are very good even against carriers. So when the engagement happens, it's going to require that the mothership goes down very, very quickly. Oof, I'm dropping a lot of frames. I don't know what's up with that. But, yeah, the mothership's going to have to be very careful in the coming engagement against all these carriers. I'm just looking away so that the lag can kind of settle down. And it looks like he's going to be forcing an engagement down in the bottom right corner, forcing DHL to expose his carriers to the line of fire just a little bit early. DHL really wants to get a critical number up first. Unfortunately, the ETERNityyosh is not going to give him enough time to do that. He's got 5 carriers on the way for DHL. He just needs time to spend this money, and ETERNityyosh cannot afford to give him that time. He's spending down that Nexus, and I'm also looking for that Dark Templar Shrine, which is being built right now. It's probably being built because both players are rather strapped for gas, and Dark Templars can be made into Archons, which are a little bit more mineral heavy than High Templar Archons. And how many carriers are we dealing with? We should be up to 10 right now. 7, with more than 4 on the way. So yeah, this will be a very intimidating force against a very intimidating force. The main difference being that the mothership for Yosh has been out for a very long time, and the mothership for DHL will be coming out with a very small amount of energy. So if there is going to be a vortex, we can expect one to be coming out of ETERNityyosh or in his favor. It looks like this Nexus is going to go down almost instantly, and that's going to force the move out from DHL. He's coming down just to take out the probes, which we're repositioning from DHL. 2 motherships on the ground. Oh, this is devastating to my computer. So many carriers. Oh man. All right. So what does ETERNityyosh need to do? He needs to take out this base, and what does DHL needs to do? He needs to take out this force. That's really all you need to understand about this matchup, is that DHL knows exactly what needs to happen, and what needs to happen is a massive engagement in his favor, and he's just buying time for that. He's pretty much completely mined out. He's only got 1 base left. He knows where the last stand, the Alamo, is going to take place. And right now, ETERNityyosh is over 200 supply. He's pretty much maxed out on the interceptors as well as the shield upgrades. He needs to get space armor, but at this point, I don't think there's any reason for him to delay much longer. He's pushing into the 3rd, forcing the move out. There goes DHL moving off into the mid-left portion of the map. This 3rd is going to go down, and with it will be the last vestige of DHL's economy. His economics tab is actually going to be on 0-0, I think, unless he's got some long-distance mining at the same time. So many interceptors from DHL has absolutely just destroyed that base, but DHL is not willing to commit. He's pulling back. So is ETERNityyosh. Oh, both players are pulling back. I guess I understand DHL's. He had to pull back because he was going to lose the base race. I do not understand Yosh's. He didn't have to pull back. He wasn't going to lose the base weight. He was gonna absolutely just destroy DHL's home base before anything happened. And DHL is desperately looking for the enemy base, but it looks like they've actually traded places. These probes are going to find the enemy forces of ETERNiTYyosh, and with that, DHL is going to know exactly where the final battle is going to take place. Some probes also joining in. Oh, DHL, he's just waiting. He's waiting for 5 more carriers coming out. He freed up a little bit more supply by sacrificing all those probes, and with that supply, he's producing more and more of those carriers, and we can actually see 13 carriers over 14. With the 5 that are going to be coming out, DHL is actually going to be ahead on that carrier count, but will he be ahead in pure army? I mean, 11 stalkers with the 3 void rays, and like I said, that carrier is that mothership is over 200 energy. His is getting there too, 160. And I mean, what really are you going to use that energy for? I mean, vortex is 100, but how many vortex do you really need in an engagement? 2 vortexes is pretty nice, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so my computer's literally crying right now. It's like pooling on the floor. Here comes the engagement. DHL pushing in with his main force. My computer's just chugging along because this is going to be absolutely massive. There goes the infestors, or the interceptors, targeting down the mothership, I hope. Every time those interceptors leave, oh, massive vortex. There goes half of those carriers getting sucked in. DHL doing the absolutely correct play, which is to push your carriers into that vortex so they all pop out at the exact same time. 2 of them getting caught unprepared, 2 of them going down. The vortex finally expiring, allowing the carriers to pull out. Oh, that's pretty neat. All of them pulling out. There goes the mothership. She had enough energy for a vortex, but she doesn't throw it down. DHL desperately caught, 100% surrounded. 9 carriers to the 10. They're getting just chewed apart. I think DHL is going to have to tap out. There goes the second vortex. Again, just sealing the coffin. 36 over 150 supply. This went 100% in ETERNiTYyosh's favor. Oh, man. That was an absolutely terrible engagement for DHL. I mean, he tried his best. Like, it was really that the vortex went down on the mothership, denying his own vortex. If he had thrown down a vortex at the same time that ETERNiTYyosh has, and their forces had been split up evenly, who knows who would have come out on top, or if there would have been a winner. I have no idea. I know who's the winner here tonight is you guys, because you actually watched my cast. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary. Bye.